Hey guys, what's happening? Today we're going to talk about the importance of food quality and the forgotten fundamentals of nutrition, which a lot of people forget or neglect. And I'm really excited because if you know me personally, you know I'm a huge proponent of organic food, and this is the reason why, pretty much. So I want to preface this by saying in the first part, I said how we replace ourselves on a yearly basis, all the way from these guns to my teeth, hair, organs, glands, skin, everything. And your body's made up of about 100 trillion cells. I didn't say that in the last video, but it is. So each one of those cells needs good nutrition to be built out of, to build them. So, and that's why we need to get back to the fundamentals of nutrition, which is what I've got behind me here. And the reason that they're forgotten is because a lot of social reasons. Everyone wants convenience. People stop caring where their food comes from. They don't look at the roots of anything, and there's a reason I say that. But this year was really the year for me to learn all about this sort of stuff, because I knew that if I wanted to be healthy, happy, vital, so that I can help people, I need to know this stuff. So, well, let's just get right to it. If you want a typical fitness guy's approach, then maybe don't watch this, but here we go. Okay, so we're going to look at the closed organic cycle, which is also called the wheel of life, because it goes like that. It's a wheel. All right. Now, soil. Healthy soil, from the soil, the plants grow, plants and grass, etc. Animals eat plants, or animals eat other animals, which eat plants, and then man eats animals and plants, and then at the end of it all three of these, man, animals, and plants, all die and go back into the soil. Yeah, got it? Cool, pretty simple. Most people, they know like that man eats animals. Man eats animals and plants. Animals eat plants, etc. But everyone always forgets the soil. Okay, so they're like, okay, yeah, you got to eat your vegetables, you got to eat your fruits, etc., etc. But no one talks about the soil, which is the ground substance of the plant. So the quality here determines the quality here, and ultimately here. Okay? Now that we understand that, we're going to get into the actual soil. Okay, so soil is the basis of all life. It's from soil that plants grow. Okay, we know that. In soil, there are microorganisms and worms. In about 1 gram of soil, there is 600 million microorganisms of tens of thousands of different species in just 1 gram. I don't have anything to scale that, but just imagine one gram. What they do is they take dead organic matter, so when man, animals, plants die, it goes back to the soil. They turn that into humus, which is a crumb-like structure, and with healthy organic soil, 1 cubic foot holds 7 gallons of water, which is very important because water has a diamagnetic property to it, which means it has the affinity to a north pole of a magnet. Okay? And worms burrow holes. They burrow down into the soil and allow oxygen to get in there, which aerates it, right? And oxygen has a paramagnetic property to it. It's highly paramagnetic, which means it has the affinity to a south pole. So what these do, among other things that contribute to this, but water and oxygen play a big role, they actually help in the electromagnetic potential. So you get a north pole and a south pole, you have work potential, which actually helps the plants grow. They're electronically driven. Fungi in the soil pull carbon out of the air and into the soil, which is important because people are so concerned about CO2 emissions and whatnot. They're symbiotic with plants. Symbiotic means they have a working relationship where, it's a give and a take, just like the microorganisms in your gut, they have a give and take, right? With you, you feed them, they give you health, etc. What they do is they produce nutrition for the plants, all the way from proteins, amino acids, carbohydrates, etc., all the way to vitamins, minerals. Interesting fact, they actually liquefy rocks using extremely powerful acids. They liquefy rocks and then feed the rocks to the plant. That's pretty cool. They provide a lot of the plant's immune system. They protect it. So imagine I'm I'm a plant, right? Here's where the soil starts. This is the upbringing, the roots of my legs. The microorganisms are all around me, protecting me. Say I've got a predatory invader coming to me. They're called mycorrhiza, right? It'll makes loops out of the same substance that they use to liquefy the rocks, and when the predator gets stuck in it, it burns a hole in it, and then they eat the insides of the animal, then eat the whole thing and feed it to the plants. So plants are actually carnivorous, which is pretty damn cool. Okay. So now, when you realize that, if they do all this for the soil, right? So what's missing here can't show up here, right? And when animals eat plants, if the plants they're eating is missing stuff in the soil, then the animal doesn't get it. So then when I or you eat an animal or a plant that came from bad soil, we miss things. So you see, when the soil is healthy, when they farm organically, it actually produces plants with all the right amount of nutrients in them that they're supposed to have, that nature intended. And then animals eat the plants, and then the animals get healthy. Like say a cow, it's meant to eat grass, not grains, and other things that they feed it, such as cement powder, sawdust, etc., etc. And yeah, so man eats animals and plants. If they come from the healthy soil, it's good. Now, the reason why I eat organic is because what they do is they put pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, and rodenticides on the soil in order to deal with pests. Okay, what happens if these microorganisms do all these things? What happens when you kill them? And NPK fertilizer is a salt, right? What happens when you put salt on an earthworm? You kill it instantly. It dehydrates it, just like if you have too much salt. And then if you're killing off microorganisms, it means you have less humus, which means you have less water. And if the worms are gone, you get less oxygen, which means the electromagnetic drive of the plant is diminished. And then you got more carbon emissions because there's less fungi in the soil from the fungicides. And then the plants themselves have less vitamins, minerals, etc. Less because they're not in the soil. There's nothing there to liquefy the minerals and feed them to plants. There's no nutrition being given to them by the predatory invaders being eaten and then fed to the plants. So they end up malnourished. So really the health of the soil nowadays is determined by man. And you might be wondering, okay, why is this important? Why is this important? Well, you see, you have to deal with all of the things that they put in the soil. So the fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, rodenticides, they're in two primary classes, which is neurotoxic and hormonally based. So what they do to the bugs is they attack their nervous system and their hormonal system. So they raise the estrogen levels up so high that they can't reproduce. So your body has to deal with that, and it's toxic at any level, even though they say otherwise. I mean, the lifespan of a bug is a week, but your lifespan's 80 years. So proportionately, long-term exposure can lead to problems. And now I'm talking mainly about health, but I mean, you can't build muscle when you're dead, can you? Or, I mean, really, building muscle and losing fat isn't that high of a priority. Your organs, these things affect your organs. One of the pesticides, what's it called? Glyphosate was marketed as an antibiotic. That means it wipes out your intestinal microorganisms too. So then you end up with all sorts of problems, right? And I really do, I ask yourself this, but I think that an internal organ would be more important than a pair of biceps. Okay? And that's why it's important. This is why you need to know this stuff. And I'll put links to where I learned this stuff in the description below. So this is where we talk about food quality, okay? Remember, you're only as healthy as the animals and plants you eat, and the animals and plants you eat are only as healthy as the soil that they came from. That's the take-home message. And this stuff is fascinating to me, really. I mean, working out, that kind of took the back seat. This stuff is just awesome to me. I mean, and I didn't want to go too in-depth. Like, I wanted to talk about the paramagnetic and diamagnetic, but I'll leave that till I know more. And, yep, so that's it for now. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. That's why food quality is important. That's why you got to buy from the right sources. If you can, be creative with your money. I have to make sacrifices. I don't make much money, but I manage to live eating organically, right? Like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3 where I'll talk about, once you realize that it's important and that the food quality is important, the next thing you want to do is figure out how to eat. So what ratios and whatnot, all the diet fads and etc. I'm going to give my opinion on that, coming from a really grounded perspective with no real agenda. I don't really have an agenda for a certain diet. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little knowledge. I hope I didn't forget anything. I hope it wasn't too over the head. Took me a while to get the hang of it. But yeah, I'll see you next time.